new boat records reveal more about Nolan Wells' final hours, but the biggest questions remain. What really happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells on the 4th of July? As investigators continue searching for answers, newly released records are providing the clearest timeline yet of the boat trip that brought Nolan and his friends to Horn Island, Mississippi. But while these records answer some questions, they also leave many of the biggest mysteries unsolved. Today we're breaking down everything that has been revealed, what the new documents actually show, and why Nolan's family says they are still searching for the truth. Before we begin, if you enjoy in-depth coverage of major U.S. stories and celebrity news, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let's get into it. On July 4th, Nolan Wells traveled with a group of friends to Horn Island, a remote barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The group was reportedly headed there to celebrate Independence Day with other young people enjoying the holiday. According to the newly released records, the boat left the dock just before 10 o'clock that morning. GPS information shows the vessel arrived at Horn Island around 11:14 a.m. For several hours, everything appeared normal. The boat remained at the island throughout the afternoon while people enjoyed the holiday festivities. Authorities have previously said Nolan was last seen around 3 p.m. That timeline matches what several people who were on the island have publicly stated over the past several days. One of the biggest developments involves what happened later that afternoon. For weeks, people have questioned claims that the boat experienced mechanical problems before leaving the island. Now, newly obtained records appear to confirm that something did go wrong. According to dispatch audio released through media reports, someone aboard the boat contacted emergency services around 4 p.m. The caller reported that the bilge pump had stopped working. A bilge pump removes water from inside a boat. Without it, water can continue collecting inside the vessel, creating a potentially dangerous situation. In the recorded call, the person can be heard urgently asking for help. The caller reportedly said they were at the west tip of Horn Island and believed the boat was taking on water. The caller also estimated that there were around 7 people on board. Emergency assistance was requested to prevent the boat from sinking and to tow it back safely. This newly released dispatch call supports earlier public statements from people connected to the trip. A local judge, whose son was among those on the island that day, had previously said the boat began experiencing mechanical issues and that her son left because of those problems. Another friend also claimed the group departed because of an electrical issue involving the boat. The new dispatch records appear consistent with those earlier descriptions. However, while the mechanical problems now appear better documented, one major question remains unanswered. Where exactly was Nolan when the boat left? The dispatch records do not identify everyone who was on board. They also do not explain whether Nolan was with the group at that moment or exactly what happened in the hours that followed. According to some of Nolan's friends, he chose to stay behind after meeting a young woman on the island. That explanation has been repeated publicly by several people connected to the case. But Nolan's parents have strongly challenged that account. His father has said that his son was taught never to separate from the group he arrived with. According to the family, that simply was not the type of decision Nolan would make. His parents believe it would have been completely out of character for him to remain alone on a remote island while his friends left. Because of that, they continue to question the version of events that has been publicly described. Another issue that has raised concern involves Nolan's personal belongings. His family has said that after Nolan was reported missing, they recovered his phone and his keys. Friends reportedly said Nolan intentionally left his phone behind to protect it from the water. However, his parents have questioned why anyone would leave the island without making absolutely certain Nolan was safely returning as well. These unanswered questions have fueled widespread public interest in the investigation. Although authorities have suggested that accidental drowning remains one possible explanation, they have emphasized that the investigation is still active. Importantly, Nolan's official cause of death has not yet been confirmed. Both the official autopsy and an independent autopsy requested by the family are still pending. Until those findings are released, investigators have not announced a final conclusion regarding exactly how Nolan died. The GPS records also provide a detailed picture of the boat's movements after leaving Horn Island. According to those records, the boat departed the island at approximately 4:31 p.m. It later returned to the original dock. The vessel then traveled into Fort Bayou before returning again to the dock later that evening. Eventually, It was transported overland back to the owner's nearby residence. While this information creates a more complete timeline for the boat itself, it still does not answer the central mystery. What happened to Nolan between the time he was reportedly last seen around 3 p.m. and when search efforts began? That remains one of the biggest unanswered questions in the investigation. Nolan's family has hired civil rights attorney Ben Crump to help represent them. Together, they have called for a thorough and transparent investigation. The family has also expressed concerns that race may have affected how the investigation has been handled. Investigators have not agreed with those allegations, but have continued to state that the case remains active and that every available lead is being examined. Meanwhile, law enforcement officials continue asking anyone with first-hand information to come forward. They believe even small details could prove important in understanding Nolan's final hours. Investigators are also expected to continue reviewing digital evidence, witness interviews, and forensic findings as the case moves forward. As this investigation continues, it's important to separate confirmed facts from online speculation. The newly released GPS records and dispatch audio do confirm that the boat experienced mechanical problems before leaving Horn Island. They also confirm the timing of the boat's arrival and departure. However, these records do not establish where Nolan was during his final hours. They do not explain how he entered the water. And they do not determine whether any crime occurred. Those answers may depend on future forensic evidence, witness interviews, and the results of the pending autopsies. For Nolan's family, the search for those answers continues. They have repeatedly said they simply want the complete truth about what happened to their son. As more evidence becomes available, investigators hope the remaining gaps in the timeline can eventually be filled. Until then, many questions remain unanswered. We'll continue following this story and bring you verified updates as new information is officially released. What do you think about these newly released boat records? Do they answer any questions for you, or do they raise even more? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. See you next time.